let's bring in tonight's Legal Eagles, National Security Attorney Bradley Moss and former independent counsel Sol Wisenberg. Welcome to you both. Great to have you.
Good evening, Shannon.
Thank you.
Okay, another tweet also from the former FBI director says this: the AG should stop sliming his own department. If there are bad facts, show us, or search for them professionally and then tell us what you found. An AG must act like the leader of the Department of Justice, an organization based on truth. Donald Trump has enough spokespeople. Sol, what do you make of this, the former FBI director now coming after the current AG?
Well, I think he's a congenital liar, is what I think. The Attorney General did not slime his own department. The Attorney General said that if government officials acted improperly and abused their power and put their thumb on the scale, that's something that everybody should know about. He's going to look into it, and he said, I'm not saying that happened. Let me tell you about Bill Barr. Last week, I went to Rod Rosenstein's farewell at the Department of Justice. That was held in the Great Hall. They don't usually hold a farewell ceremony for the Deputy AG in the Great Hall. Christopher Wray was there. Bill Barr was there. Rod Rosenstein was there. Jeff Sessions was there. Does that sound like somebody who is sliming his own department? It's a complete lie. Bill Barr has not said one thing since he became Attorney General to slime his own department. And by the way, thanks for the promotion. I was not independent counsel. I was deputy independent counsel.
All right. It's good to know. No, rarely in Washington do people demote themselves. They like to take the extra credit where they can get it. But we want to keep it accurate here. Okay, so Bradley, we hear from Brad Parscale, who is the president's 2020 campaign manager, that he thinks all of this stuff is actually going to help them. Here's what he says.
As the Russia investigation's fallen apart, and it looks like now we're investigating the people who made the lies, and as the table has turned here, the president has seen a steady increase of Democrats now supporting him.
Okay, so Bradley, do you think this whole investigation into the investigators now revealing various things, and we'll know more in the next few weeks as we get two of the three that we know about, we think we're going to get some results, could it actually backfire on the Democrats if it appears they've been too aggressive in going after the president?
I don't think so, at least not at this point. I mean, look, even all the polling, even the Fox News polling has shown that the American public still trusts Bob Mueller over Donald Trump, over William Barr. And look, what's scary here is the language coming out of the campaign, the language coming out of the White House, and the language coming out of the Attorney General is all one and the same. They're all saying this was a hoax. They're all saying it was lies. We had 108 pages that showed there was a legitimate basis to have run this investigation from the beginning. It wasn't based off the dossier. It was based off standard FBI investigative techniques. So what's concerning here, and what I think the former FBI Director James Comey is concerned about, is that the Attorney General seems to have already prejudged, at least how it sounds, and I'm not saying it's definitive, but at least how it sounds, he has prejudged the idea that there is something that was wrong with how the surveillance was done. We haven't seen any evidence of that. I think he should have kept his mouth shut about that until the investigation was done. If he found something, then you explain it, then you disclose it professionally. I think that's what James Comey was trying to say about the Attorney General.
He's never called it. I'm sorry. He's never called it a hoax.
Do you think that he's laying a defense for himself?
Sorry, was that to me or
So
Sol?
do you think James... Yeah, Sol, do you think that James Comey is actually laying a defense for himself in some way? Do you think he's got anything to worry about with these three investigations?
I don't know if he has anything to worry about, but I think he's much more concerned about the historical record. He knows that he disgraced himself in the 2016 election by the way he interfered and the whole Hillary Clinton press conference. But William Barr has never called this a hoax. And to say that he has and to compare his comments to political operatives is simply not true. And he's made it very clear he's going to look into whatever he needs to look into. He's not prejudging the matter. And
all right,
you cannot find me one instance where he called it a hoax. And by the way, it's very clear. We know already that the FISA court did not get the full story, that there are material things that were left out.
I want to bring Bradley back in here just so we can give him a quick final word, because the context of that is that the AG said, if I felt I was falsely accused as the president did, I could see how he would call it a hoax. Bradley, quick final word, 10 seconds.
Yeah, he has made it very clear. He's going to follow the president's line, his type of verbiage, to try to discredit the entire concept of why this investigation was run. Clearly, we'll have a difference of opinion in the end on that.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll all know more and have new material to dissect very soon. Bradley and Sol, thank you both very much. Great to see you.
Have a good night.